Hi guys, welcome to my channel Selenium Tech Automation. In this video, I'm discussing about TestNG Interview Questions Part 1 for automation testers. Okay, before going to start this video, if you are new to my channel, please subscribe to my channel Selenium Tech Automation and don't forget to watch this video till the end. And by end of this video, if you like this video, please drop a like, and if you don't like also, please provide that information in comment section so that I will improve for the next video. Okay, and please share this video to your friends or colleagues so that our video will recommend for more people. Let's get started today video, that is TestNG interview questions for automation testers. Okay, here the first question is, what is the TestNG framework? Okay, we have to explain in a simple way and in a smarter way. Okay, so what is the TestNG framework? Here the TestNG framework is nothing but a testing framework which is used to perform tests or conducting any type of testing activity using of Java programming language. Okay, in TestNG the NG is abbreviated for next generation, and it is developed by Cedric Boost, and it got inspired by two frameworks, that is JUnit framework and NUnit testing framework. That's it. Okay, you have to explain in a smarter way in simple terms. Okay, then the next question here is, how do you run the TestNG script? Okay, how do you run the TestNG script? So how we can run means, so let me open the Eclipse. So here you can see I have totally 4 class files here. So if we want to execute any one of the class file using of TestNG means, how we can execute? Go to your particular class file and select and perform right click on the particular class file and select run as option, and then you can see TestNG test. Okay, this is how you can run our TestNG test class file. Okay, that is how we can run our TestNG test class file using of right click on particular class and select run as option and click on TestNG test, so that your TestNG test class file got executed. Okay, so before that, if you are not adding this TestNG properly, you are not able to get that particular TestNG test option to execute your TestNG test file. Make sure that you configure TestNG library properly, and then you can execute your TestNG test class file. Okay, then the next question here is, what is the difference between TestNG test and TestNG test suite? Okay, let me open the Eclipse. Here you can see I have totally 4 class files in my package called as amazon.tests file. Sorry, amazon.tests package. So here if I am executing individually means, we can consider all this as a TestNG tests. Okay, if I want to execute all these into a if I want to execute all these test cases together means, we have to go for suite level concept. Here how we can go for suite level concept means, by creating a file called as TestNG.xml file. In TestNG.xml file, we have to define all these classes under classes tag name. Okay, under the tag name called as classes tag followed by the class name, so that you can consider it as a TestNG test suite. Okay, TestNG test means it is a single class file. TestNG test suite means where it will contain, or it is a collection of TestNG tests. Okay, that is the difference between TestNG test and TestNG test suite. Okay, the next question here is, define the correct order of tags in TestNG.xml file. Here you can see this is the correct order of TestNG.xml file hierarchy. So which will starts with our suite, followed by the test, followed by the classes, followed by our actual class name, and followed by closing of the above tags, that is classes tag, test tag, and suite tag. Okay, this is the hierarchy of defining the correct order of tags in TestNG.xml file. The next question here is, what are the types of annotations used in TestNG in the sequence of execution or hierarchy? Okay, before that, here why we are using annotations means, using of TestNG annotations we can control the test execution order. On doing that, we have different types of annotations such as @ before suite, @ before test, at the rate before class, at the rate before method, at the rate test, at the rate after method, at the rate after class, at the rate after test, at the rate after suit. I have already made one dedicated video about all these renditions, so please go through our channel and playlist if you want more information about this type of interview question. And I will show you one example using of the same hierarchy, that is TestNG hierarchy. Okay, after executing this particular test case, I got this output. First I am going to initiate one WebDriver. After initiating our WebDriver, I am going to launch our application. After launching the application, I am logging in as user 1. After that, I am composing one email. After sending, so I am logging in as I am taking a logout. After that, I am logging in as user 2 to check whether I received that email or not. After logging in as user 2, I am going to check for that particular email whether I received or not. After that, I am taking logout as user 2, and then I am closing the browser, and then I am closing the remaining browsers as well which are open in that particular session. Okay, this is how the sequence looks like. I have already made one dedicated video about this. Please go through that video in our channel and in our one of our playlist. Okay, and then the next question here is, what are the different types of reports which are generated in TestNG by default? In TestNG by default, after the execution we will get two types of reports, that is emailable report and index report. Okay, so these two reports will generated in same folder, that is called a test output folder. So here what exactly the emailable report means? So emailable report means where we can see the clear and where we can see the transparent information about our execution. Okay, see here emailable reports will generate under the project folder under the test output subfolder. This report is available as emailable report with an extension of .html by default. By default, this emailable report will generate after the execution under the project under folder called as test output subfolder, and then this report is available with an extension of .html file by default. Okay, after that the another report that is called as where is the index report will generate and saved in the TestNG. The index report will generate under the project folder and test output subfolder, and this report is available in index.html by default. Let me show you these two reports, that is emailable report and which one, the next one, and index report.html file. You can see here emailable report.html file and index.html file. So here is the index.html file. Index means 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and then testng report means this is emailable report.html file where everyone can get the information regarding your test execution part. Okay, then the next question here is, what are the priorities in TestNG? We already know that TestNG will execute all the test methods which are annotated with @test annotation will execute by default in alphabetical order or sequential order. Mostly we can say this will execute in alphabetical order or sequential order. Okay, most of the people will call this as a sequential execution order only rather than calling them as alphabetical order. Okay, why we are giving prioritization here means, for example, there are six methods which are available in my class, six @test methods which are available in my class, saying that a b c d e f, a b c d e f, that is seven methods @test methods. So if I execute means all these methods will execute in sequential order, which is starts from a and it will ends with f. So if I want to execute as per my convenience, so in this scenario we are going to provide the priorities for each and every @test method. How we can configure @test priority equals to 1? Let me show you that one as well. Okay, here you can see my execution will starts with priority equals to 0 and priority equals to 1 if I define the priorities for the respective @test annotated methods. Okay, if I want to execute particular at the rate before class is my first means, I will give it as a priority equals to 0, so that this will execute first followed by the remaining priority and related methods. Okay, here the next question is, why do we create the XML file in TestNG? As I mentioned earlier, why we are creating means, this particular TestNG.xml file, consider in my particular type of testing, that is regression testing, I have 100 number of test cases. I have to execute all these test cases at suit level. So during that time, how we can go and execute means, by creating, by using one concept called as TestNG.xml concept. Using of this particular TestNG.xml file, I can execute all my 100 test cases for regression testing. Okay, so why we are creating? To run multiple tests in a single question, which will also help us to include and exclude the test methods and its groups, and it will also help us to add the dependencies groups, and also it will help us to run the test case methods using of parameters, and finally it will assist in the execution of parallel test execution also. Okay, TestNG.xml is not only using for executing the suite level execution, executing the test cases at suite level, we can also include all these actions, that is to run multiple tests in a single execution, and also which will help us to include and to exclude the test methods which we want, and which we want to make some grouping techniques as well, and also it will help us to add dependencies in groups, and also it will help us to run the test case methods using of parameters, and also it will execute all the tests in parallel execution. Okay, and the next question here is, how do you define groups in TestNG? We define the groups in TestNG by passing the keyword called as groups parameter to the respective test annotation, with the value being the group name. Okay, below is the example for the how we can define the groups in TestNG, that is at the rate test is my annotation followed by the groups keyword, using of group 1 is my group name. Okay, and how do you exclude a group from the test execution cycle? Consider there are 5 methods in my particular TestNG test class file. So out of 5, I want to exclude 2 methods from my current execution. How we can exclude means, using of exclude tag name, or using of exclude name equals to method name. Okay, if we use this exclude name means, this method is not going to execute in that particular type of execution. Okay, then the next question here is, what is assertions in TestNG? Assertion is used to verify the actual and expected behavior of the system or behavior of the application. Okay, assertions is used to verify whether the actual and expected behavior is matching or not, whether the expected and actual uh, action is matching or not. Okay, and then below is the syntax for TestNG assertion, that is assert equals of actual result and expected result. So we are verifying whether my actual result is matching with the expected result or not. If both are matching, we will get our test as pass result. If both are not matching, we will get our test result as fail. Under assertions, we have different methods. So here assertion is nothing but a class. By defaultly we have few methods which are assert equal, assert equals, assert true, assert false. Okay, we have assert dot assert true, assert dot assert equals, and assert dot assert false. These are the 3 different methods which are available to perform assertion using of assert class on any one of our test cases. Okay, and what are the different types of asserts present inside our TestNG? So those are soft assert and hard assert. Okay, here soft assert means, if consider if you are executing one test case which is having 5 methods, out of 5 methods I am getting failure on third method because of one syntax error. So if I use soft assert means, while executing, if there are any failures, using of this soft assert, our execution is not going to stop. It will continue for the remaining available methods present inside the particular class. So that is called as soft asset. If you are using hard asset means, wherever you are getting any failure, the next second your script will get stopped and it will come out of the execution. That is the use of hard asset. By defaultly TestNG will use hard asset. If there are any failures, your test execution will get failed. But still, if you want to continue means you can go with the soft asset. Okay, so let me show you the example here, that is called as TestNG Assertions. Okay, so here let me open Assertions TestNG. So first what I am doing here, I am launching one browser using a Chrome browser, and then I am launching Amazon application. After that I am taking the title of the Amazon. So I am getting here the title as Amazon.com. Once that is done, I am using here soft asset. Even though if I if I am doing one mistake here, my script has to stop. But since I am using here soft asset, it will execute for the next step also. That is the advantages of soft asset. If I am using hard asset here, if I don't use any asset, definitely my script will get failed and it will come out of the execution. Okay, and then the next question here is, how do you create dependencies in TestNG? We can create dependent tests in TestNG by providing the depends on methods parameter of the @test annotation. So here consider there is a application, that is Amazon application. After logging in to the Amazon application, I will navigate to the home page. When I was on home page, I am performing one applications to be one item to be added into the cart. That is my the next scenario. After that I am going to my cart and then I am going to check the quantity of the product. This is a scenario where I am going to use these dependencies, because home page is dependent on login page method, correct? So likewise cart page is dependent on the previous page, that is product description page, and product description page is dependent upon the home page, and home page is dependent upon the login page. If any one of the page is not working, I am using here dependency dependent on methods, depends on methods. Okay, using of this annotation we are going to execute our test cases. So then the next question here is, what is meant by invocation count? The invocation count is an attribute that defines the number of times a test method has to run in a single execution. So if the invocation counts it as 5, then the test method would run 5 times each time I execute the TestNG test case. So for example, consider there are 5 methods. So if I use invocation count as 5, these 5 methods can execute 5 times in my test case. Each and every method will execute 5 times in my test case. So here the syntax how we can define using of the count, that is @test annotation followed by the invocation count equals to 5. Okay, my execution will execute with a count of 5 times. After that, what is meant by parallel execution in TestNG? The parallel test execution means executing different test methods simultaneously, that is parallelly in TestNG. Running the tests parallelly rather than the sequentially is very efficient. Okay, what is meant by parallel test execution in TestNG? The parallel test execution means executing different test methods simultaneously, that is parallelly in TestNG. Running the tests parallelly rather than sequentially is very efficient. Instead of running our tests in parallelly, better to execute your test cases in sequentially. Okay, parallel testing can apply at 4 different levels in TestNG. That is, we can apply this parallel testing in method level, and the next one is at test level, and the next one is at classes level. Okay, the first one here is methods level, and the next one here is test level, and then the next one here is classes level. We can apply this parallel testing at 4 levels, that is methods, tests, classes, and also we can do it at the suite level also. Okay, we can conduct this parallel testing at 4 levels, that is suite level, method level, test level, and class level. Okay, these are all the different questions where every automation tester can expect during their interview. Okay, the first question is, what is testing framework? And the next question is how do you run the TestNG script. And the next question is what is the difference between TestNG test and the TestNG test suite. And the next question is define the correct order of tags in TestNG.xml file. And the next question is what are the types of annotations used in TestNG. And the next question is what are the types of reports generated in TestNG by default. And the next one is where is the emailable report will generate and saved in TestNG, and where is the index report will generated and save in TestNG, and what are priorities in TestNG, and why do we create the .xml file in TestNG, and how do you define the groups in TestNG, and how do you exclude a group from the TestNG execution cycle, and assertions in TestNG, and what are the different types of asserts we have, what is assertion and what is assert. And then there are two types of assert in TestNG, that is soft assert and hard assert. What exactly the soft asset means and what exactly the hard asset means, and how do you create dependencies in TestNG, and what is meant by invocation count in TestNG, and what is meant by parallel test execution in TestNG, and parallel testing can apply at 4 different levels in TestNG. Okay, these are the different questions from the TestNG concept. So please watch this video till the end, and thank you so much for your time, and please subscribe to my channel Selenium Tech Automation. We will meet with our next video. Okay, thank you so much guys.